First up, I'd like to introduce the folks presenting for Lyve app, a tech advisor and strategist, and one of our judges. A big hand for Jim Louderback. Jim, come on up. You're welcome.
So it was fun looking at all the products, thanks to Robin and everybody. You know, when I first started looking at this first app, Lyve, I was like, you know, photo apps and websites are kind of like slot machines at Vegas, right? They're everywhere and they're not nearly as useful as you think they're going to be. But then I started working with this Lyve app and I realized it solved a problem that nobody else does. I don't know about you guys, but I have 20 years of digital photos stored all over the place in my house. Some on a phone, some on a tablet, some on a computer, some on this other computer, some over there. The amazing thing that they're able to do is pull all those pictures together, put them all in a timeline form, and then make it really easy to go through it and share them on any screen you happen to have. These guys have taken the shoebox of digital apps and the glowing rectangles that drive our life, and they've merged the two together to make it so easy to make them work across everything. And not only that, they got a piece of hardware that turns into your digital shoebox that saves everything, so if there's a crash, you don't lose it all. Very, very cool. The app itself is great. The hardware is great. They're working on a lot of great stuff to come. So I want to introduce you to the folks from Lyve.
Thanks, Jim. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jim. I'm Tim Bucher. I'm the CEO of Lyve, and consumers have, as Jim said, a lot of challenges with respect to the content that they're taking. So we take a lot of pictures. These slides are little off base here, but the bottom line is everybody here takes a lot of photos and videos. How many of you take photos and videos? All right. I see some cameras up right now. So we took in 2013 something like 1.6 trillion pictures. 2014, the number's going to come in way higher than that. You know, there's about 5 billion pictures that we've taken in history, and videos are consuming so much of our mobile storage that it's really challenging for consumers to manage all that stuff. So if you look in the right-hand side, you know, where is all my stuff? How can I make sure it's protected forever? How can I access it? How can I enjoy it? And that's really what Lyve is all about. So Lyve, this is the last slide I have, is about creating the ultimate mobile solution. And mobile is the key word, because where do we capture life memories? On our mobile devices. Where do we view our life memories? On our mobile devices. So what Lyve said was, hey, wait a minute. These cameras are super, super high res, but these screens aren't as high res. So why keep all the original stuff on these mobile devices when you can't really take advantage of that? But if you had to do all that yourself, it would be a lot of work. So let's create a service that could actually manage your devices where you want to keep all of your stuff, where you want to view all of your stuff, and where you capture more stuff. And let's create a mobile version of everything in your life. So I have about 75,000 photos and videos on this 16 gigabyte iPhone. I have an iPhone here, I have an Android device here, I have an iPad here, I have a PC, I have a Mac, and then I have some optional accessories, as we call them. One's called Lyve Home and one's called a Lyve Studio. But you don't need those devices. You can just grab the app, and if I come over here, the first thing that you'll see is, because I have 75,000, I don't have 20 years, I have about 15 years. But this shows me every photo and video I've taken on this day. So, you know, I might see something about maybe something that happened in the past life, like here's a picture of my daughter. She's now taller than me, and I can share that with her. So maybe I can text it, I can post it, I can mail it, you name it. And I'll go ahead and say, you know, this was you 11 years ago today. All right, so all I'll say is, aw, and she'll get that, right? So I can see all of this stuff. I can also scroll through it. So I can go back in time into the 90s and see anything. And I don't need to have a network connectivity, because all of this content is actually stored here. My 75,000 photos and videos take up 3 gigabytes. And as I go through it, you can see, as I click on it, the images look really good. And they look good in landscape or in portrait, right? So I don't need to have all of that content stored on my device. What Lyve does is it takes the originals and it puts it back to other devices that you might have that have cheaper storage than what you might purchase here, right? To go between a 32 gig and a 128 gig iPhone, that's like $200. With Lyve, with the free software, you don't need to do that. So I can go and look at all of my life in timeline, as Jim was saying. So these are all the years in my life. And as I scroll through it, I can zoom in on every Christmas in my life, every birthday in my life. Lyve has actually connected me to more people in my life than any other social network has, because every day I get tickled. Now, there's also a built-in camera, so I can take pictures. Everybody say Vegas. All right, say cheese. Okay, now, one of the biggest challenges you may have found is that to go between ecosystems, right? If I'm going to be using iOS, but I also like a lot of these devices because gadgets are kind of cool. I love some of the stuff that's coming out on the Android side. As a matter of fact, the cameras are really, really good there, but I also like the iOS side. Now, with Lyve, if I were to try to get that content between my iOS device and my Android device, it would be a lot of work. But with Lyve, it takes care of all of it for you. So Lyve, it's free. Download it today. Available on all the app stores and at mylive.com for your PCs and your laptops. Thank you very much.
Big round of applause for Lyve, everybody. I feel like I got to know the family. We saw Christmas. She grew up so quickly. I can't believe it. Well done. Okay.